Hello there, it's Graham Healy, and I just decided to do a quick review and to help you those of you are on the 6-week cut up program. We're going to lose six kilos of body weight in 6 weeks. Well, that can relate to about 4 kilos of body fat, and at the same time maintaining muscle tissue and not allowing the muscle tissue, of course, to be broken down by the body's hormones such as cortisol. Now, a little bit of my background for those who don't know who I am. I've studied med science for 6 years. I was formerly the Body for Life coach for Bill Phillips in Queensland, former Olympic weightlifter, 8th Dan master. I'm also a TAF teacher. I have a master certification in dry needling / acupuncture, trained under Dr. Wayne Marmou. So, and I've got all the nutrition, personal training, diplomas, all this sort of stuff. So basically the last 40 years I've trained athletes, and I've been a professional and still am a professional athlete myself, as in the martial arts. And before that I was boxing under my father's boxing academy. So that's a bit of my background. Now, there's a few questions I want to answer very quickly because this one's not going to be a long one. I'm going to show you what foods, basically for a cut up, but it can be lifestyle permanent. And again, the little caveat is I'm doing this myself. And it's not medical advice, even though I do have a med science degree. But for the sake of what I'm saying, I'm applying this to myself. If you decide to apply it to yourself, it's totally up to you. And I'm not advising you of anything, all right? I'm just showing you basically what I'm doing. If you elect to do that, that's up to you. When you elect to eat all the rubbish under the sun, that's up to you as well. So there's 3 main things in the 6 years of studying med science. There's 3 main things that cause disease in the world today. Without going into what's really happened in the last 3 years, that's another subject, unfortunately. Nothing to do with your health there, that's for certain. I'll guarantee you of that. And don't get me started. But if you want to have a look at that, go on to riseupaustraliabrisbane.com, and you'll have a full medically solid evidence of what's happened over the last 3 years. And of course, it won't be anything to do with the current government or the current so-called advice. Now, okay, couple of things. There's 3 things that cause disease in the world today. Major 3 things. Number 1, refined sugar. Anything with refined sugar or high levels of unrefined sugar, that leads to diabetes, and it also leads to people getting their legs amputated, would you believe? Because what happens when diabetes sets in and it gets to the extreme area, it'll cut off your nerve supply, your blood supply. And how it cuts off your blood supply is the high sugar levels turn into triglycerides, which turn into fats in your arterial system. It's a knock-on effect. Number 2 is the good old smoking. Whatever you're smoking out there, it's not good for you. Now, the fact is that over 50,000 people a year die of related lung cancers and different sorts of cancers, but lung cancer is the main one. 50,000 a year, that's 1,000 people a week die of those diseases. And yet every time I turn up at the service station, there's people still buying cigarettes for $50 a packet, but the government's making money out of that. So I suppose that's okay, isn't it? Don't know. The third thing is alcohol. Now, everyone tries to justify drinking alcohol. I'm drinking red wine because some, study that was like really biased, probably done by a wine manufacturer, said that red wine is good for you. Well, that's a bit like saying that methylated spirits is good for you. I mean, methylated spirits is the same alcohol as in all the alcohol products. So the things with beers, they've got sugar in them, basically, you know. The things with wines, they've got fortified wines, they've got more alcohol than you can poke a stick at it. And spirits, well, you mightn't have so many carbohydrates in the spirits, but you've got the triple hit of alcohol. Now, alcohol's addictive. The body treats alcohol from a biochemistry point of view. It treats alcohol as a pathogen, as a disease, as a toxic substance, and it sends organelles down to neutralize the alcohol. So, you know, I mean, regarding alcohol, I mean, you realize the effects of alcohol. Blurred vision, liver cirrhosis. 6,000 people die of liver cirrhosis every year in Australia. Oh, yeah, but I only have a couple of drinks a night. Well, really? How many is that? How many do you have a day? You think about it. Oh, my blood pressure is up. Oh, really? Wonder why that is. So, again, all of this, what I'm telling you, it's pointless if you're not going to stick to what I call the healthy diet, basically, or nutrition, or whatever you want to call it. It's $1 billion business out there, and they're mainly fabricating BS to everyone. I find there's nothing very scientific about anything that they talk in the diet industry, really. So, okay, the three main things for disease, I'll just repeat them again. Number one is sugar, white sugar, any refined sugar, and also you can have a lot of fruit juices, and even though it's fructose and it's better than white sugar, it still relates to the same thing at the end of the day. Number two, alcohol. Oh no, I've got to have my alcohol. Go right ahead. Switch the video off right now. We'll see you with liver cirrhosis or some other, a high blood pressure or something else, you know, a couple of years down the track, and enjoy your life. You know, have a good day. And number three, cigarette smoking. Now, you know, I'll just say this much about the last 3 years. I saw a guy go into a service station with a mask on. You know, that's going to stop viral disease. With the mask on, took the mask on, asked for a packet of cigarettes and his favourite full sugar soft drink with a big guts on him, basically. So, you know, it's terrible to watch people who are addicted to these products, and it's all out of control. And, of course, there's mass advertising that goes with it. And I won't mention the mass advertising that's gone on in the last 3 years that has said to you, it's all perfectly safe. And just think about that. And I won't go into it on this video. All right. Now, we've got that off my mind. Now, the other thing is we'll talk about the ketosis or keto diet. Now, if you want to lose body fat, you've got to switch the body from relying on carbohydrates to relying on burning fat. How do you do that? You drop the carbs down extremely low. Now, I have a PDF file with all this on it. So you drop the carbs down extremely low to about 50 grams a day. That's what you should be averaging. So it might go up to 100, drop down to 50, up to 100, drop down to 50 grams. That's your limit. Now, what happens when you do that? The body switches over to, through the portal system, through your liver, it starts to produce ketones. Now, it's quite a complicated bio process, you know, and I'm not going to go into it on this video, and sort of, because I'm not talking to some scientists or anything, I'm talking to the average person here, right? There is a video that I have posted, and I will continue to post, by Dr. Amingo, and he's a biochemist, and he actually does graphic biochemistry. So he actually draws diagrams while he's talking to you. Probably one of the most brilliant doctors in the field that I've ever seen. And so regarding body's metabolism and how it all works, I've got all his videos on Healy's lowerbackpain.com, and it's on the lifestyle and life expectancy page. All right, so look for that. It's on the, when you get onto that website, healyslowerbackpain.com, there's a light page that goes across and you'll see it, longevity and lifestyle, or some such, longevity on there. So you'll see that, click on that, go down and look at Dr. Amingo's graphic videos. And one of those graphic videos are the description of the body's metabolism. Okay, so that's very, very important for those who want to get technically correct and how it all works with ketosis through the liver and all that. Now, back onto the ketosis thing. I was talking to a fitness person the other day, and they said, "Oh, I can't stick to the low carbs." I said, "Why is that?" They said, "Well, it's just too difficult." So I then asked them, what level of fats were they consuming? And they just looked at me blank. See, the thing is, sticking to the low carb diet is very difficult, if not impossible, if you don't lift your good fats up very high, very high. So I'll have this in the PDF, but this is how to think about it. Say, for instance, now I'm about 93 at the moment. My goal is to be 85. That's my fighting weight. Not that I'm fighting anymore, but it's what my boxing weight used to be. So now I'm doing exactly what I'm telling you, dropping my carbs right down and burning body fat. You can physically see it. So when you're burning body fat, you can see it reducing. Just look in the mirror. You don't need a bioimpedance test. Your pants will get looser, right? You'll get leaner looking, and you just got to keep it going consistently, right? And it's not difficult when I tell you what to do. Now, say my ideal weight is 85K. Now, protein level must be about 1 gram per kilo body weight, roundabout. So that equals about 80 grams of protein a day. Now, most of the stuff I'm telling you now is like vegan type diet. It doesn't have to be, but why I'm basically focusing on that because my other half's vegan, so I've sort of dropped everything out except for eggs, and actually feel 100% better with it, low fats, all that sort of stuff. So if the protein is around about 80, if I'm 85K, 1 gram per kilo body weight's 80, 85, say 80 grams of protein a day. Set that. It'll be on the PDF. Now, the good fats have to be around about that as well. So that's a lot of fat, actually. And when I'm talking good fats, I'm talking hemp seed oil, I'm talking flax oil, and maybe MCT oil, and also Udo's oils. I've used Udo's oils before, but Udo's oils have become a little bit hard to buy from Canada. So I've substituted that with hemp seed oil mainly. And there's a company in Victoria who makes hemp seed oil, and that's called the Mount Elephant. Look it up on the web, Mount Elephant, and you can get the hemp seed oil from them. Now, hemp seed oil, 60 to 80 grams a day. Let's say about 60. That for instance, I'll give you an example. With coffee, I'll have a coffee in the morning, right? Or you can have green tea or normal tea or whatever you want in the morning. It's up to you. Or you can have a cup of hot water if you want to. 2 dessert spoons of hemp seed oil, right? Now, when you put 2 dessert spoons of hemp seed oil in your tea, you've got the equivalent of 20 grams. So 3 of them a day, and you've got 60 grams covered, right? Now, the other way I work around the flaxseed oil. Flax is very important too because there's a combination of the oils that you need, the omega-6, 9, and etc. Won't go into it today. It's a little bit complicated. But I also have the flaxseed oil in capsules. Now, the flaxseed oil in capsules, just look over here for a second, if I can find them. Anyway, there's, oh, here we are. Blackmore's flaxseed capsule, 1,000 milligram, 6 a day. Now, that's based on 85K, right? Now, let's just recap. Get the carbs right down under 50 grams a day. If you have a trouble tracking all this, there's a downloadable app on healyslowerbackcare.com. and the you've got an app. Go down the page and you can see where the app is, right? And I'll put Healy's lower back pain.com on this video. Proteins must be high. Why? Because your body will not destroy, but it will consume the muscle tissue as fuel if you don't have enough proteins, because it uses amino acids and fats to build cells. So if, for instance, you hear a couple of people, they talk to me and say, well, Billy Bloggs went on the starvation diet and he lost a lot of weight. Of course he's going to lose a lot of weight. Or he doesn't eat anything for 3 days or something. Okay? So what's happening there is the body's producing the hormones called cortisols, right? And the cortisols are actually eating his muscle tissue or her muscle tissue. So it'll leave the fat deposits to last. In the body system, the fat deposits are like storage system, right? So if you go on the fasting diet, you know, so we're going to do fasting for a few days. It's okay, as long as you got everything in balance. The trouble that I have with a lot of this, when I basically diagnose or listen to people who are telling me what they do or what they've watched on the internet, or someone's done something, you know, perhaps he's been stranded on a desert island and only had coconut water or some such silly thing. I mean, they come up with some ridiculous stuff. So if someone's going to not eat for 3 days but just have water, of course you're going to lose weight. But what weight you will lose is body fluid. And the body then will attack the muscle tissue with what you call cortisols, which break down the muscle tissue into amino acids. You don't want that. Then you've got the people who say, okay, we're going on the keto diet. And they listen to something on the internet which says it's keto. You know, they put the keto tag on, so that must be correct. Unfortunately, the commercialization of the keto diet is just gone through the roof. You know, the science has been chucked out the door and they're just labeling products. That's keto, this is keto, or this is keto, right? Same with the vegan diet. Now, I mean, you know, my other half's 100% vegan. You know, I've sort of gone down that road as well, just to keep her happy. No, I'm just joking. Actually, it's quite healthy, and except I still have eggs and that. And I've looked at, you know, I've looked at chicken, for instance, with hormones in it, and I've looked at fish and that are coming from Thailand, mercury. When you dig into it, you sort of think to yourself, I don't know whether I really want to be sticking that sort of stuff into my body, right? So, where are we now with all this? Okay, yeah, the intermittent fasting, right? Now, what's that supposed to mean? Well, that means they fast for a certain time during the day. Perhaps they imagine they're on a desert island or something. Some of this stuff is quite humorous. So what, in fact, the intermittent fasting done properly should be is that you don't have anything of, let's say, any carbohydrates or anything of substance to eat for maybe at least 6 hours, maybe 8, maybe you can push out a bit further. Now, the ultimate intermittent fasting is when you go to sleep at night, and say you went to sleep at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night, didn't wake up till 6. You've done, what's that, 3, 6, you've done 9 hours of fasting, which you do at night. The trouble is that most people have a big gut full of food and carbohydrates and snack on everything before they go to bed. And as they're sleeping, the body stores body fat. Then they get up in the morning and have a big breakfast according to God knows who's telling them. And then they're going to store more body fat. And then have a big lunch and a big dinner. And keep that going until you have a big heart attack, right? So just walk through the shopping centre and you just have a look at the people who are morbidly obese. Now, I'm not having a go at anyone who's morbidly obese, but you've got to think about this. How did they get there? They ate it there. They drank it there. I'll have me Slurpee with 20 teaspoons of sugar, right? So it's all about balance. And you know what gets me? I've been a health fanatic now all my life. And I hear, and I used to own a gym with 2,000 people, including a lot of so-called champion bodybuilders that were on steroids, who told me they were natural, but they were drug-induced. There are natural bodybuilders. I've promoted Keith Bullock, who is a natural Mr. Olympia, totally different look, totally different attitude, not full of the gear. Anyway, that's another subject that I won't bother going into on this video, will I? Now, let's just talk about the so-called bodybuilders cut-up diet. And I understand that because, as I said, I used to have a gym with, quite a few bodybuilding champions. Now, the rule of thumb, and nothing's changed over the years. Nothing has changed from Dorian Yates' day, except for the steroids, of course. And I'm not talking steroids. I'm talking just using the principles as a diet calibration. And nothing's changed with the natural bodybuilders on how to cut up and strip down the body fat. And it's simply this: high proteins, low or hardly any carbs. The usual principle that they used to always use, and it still works to this day. It doesn't have to, you don't have to have a degree to figure this out. Increase your proteins, be it the whey or the platinum proteins, urban muscle platinum proteins, which we recommend, or the pea proteins, or the rice and pea proteins. Get your proteins up to about 1 gram per kilo of body weight. Get your good fats up to about the same, and get your carbs right down to under or averaging around 50 grams a day. Now, that's not much. Now, that's a very small bowl of rice once a day. So if you're doing, a bodybuilder's cut-up diet, and I'm not saying you're doing that for competition, but if you're doing that generally to dip into, it's like this. It's a curve. You're dipping into ketosis, you're coming out a bit, you're dipping in, you're getting out, and you use that your whole life, and you'll be a hell of a lot healthier. You'll be a lot leaner, faster, quicker, think quicker and everything. And I'll tell you why in a second. Okay. Now, that's right. That's the question that I asked this female athlete that we were having a sauna one day, and I was just talking to her about everything, and she said, "Oh yeah, I did the keto diet, but I couldn't handle it because the carbs are too low." And she was pretty fit looking, right? And I said, "What was your fats level?" Just looked at me blank, right? See, they don't understand. No, I'm not having to go at that person individually, or personally, but they don't understand the science, because fats, good fats, plus protein is how the cells are built, and hormones and enzymes in the body. All right. Go onto my longevity and health page on healyslowerbackpain.com, and you'll see all that in systematic diagrams. Right. Now, here's a quick one. What's the difference between saturated fat and polyunsaturated? You can get it real complicated with this, but here it is. I'll just do a little diagram. That's saturated fat. It's a closed network. It's closed. And when you've got animal fats that are in the system, your arteries will start to look like this. Then it'll build up. And next minute, you've got atherosclerosis, and there's restricted blood flow because you've got a build-up of plaque, which is basically saturated fat. You look at it, look at your kitchen sink. Those who've cleaned the kitchen sink, you're putting fats through the kitchen sink, and suddenly it gets blocked. What is it? Fats accumulating in the piping, right? Then you've got to put Drano through it. And I'll show you and tell you on this video how to put Drano. Don't take it literally, but a substance that will cleanse the intestinal tract perfectly, right? Now, this is saturates. Polyunsaturates look like this. So when you look at the molecule of a saturated fat, just imagine that's the head, and they're going in the bloodstream. That's what they look like. They're a closed, they're actually bipolar, positive and positive, negative here, without getting complicated. It looks like a tadpole, literally, so it's floating along like this. closed network. Polyunsaturates floating along, looks like that. So the body picks that up with an amino acid, usually something like L-carnitine, one of the aminos, and it combines with it, uses it to build muscle cell walls and everything. So when it's built in a cell wall, the wall then becomes like a matrix. When it's polyunsaturated, the cell walls become like that. You know, I'm just using it for a diagram. And so fluids can pass in and out. See, the whole body is actually is like one sort of micro sponge, really. So your arteries aren't solid. They're actually, the blood can flow through the arteries into the cells. And it does it by like an osmosis effect. And it does it by positive and negative charges, like you would have in your car battery, positive and negative. The ions are moving backwards and forwards. That's how your body feeds itself. And that's how the cells absorb nutrients from the bloodstream. And then, you know, the arteries just get smaller, smaller, smaller until they get down into capillaries. And the capillaries just interchange. This side's capillaries, this side's the artery side of it, you know, the smaller arteries, I forget what they call, arterioles or something, or capillaries, I remember. So then they just interchange, oxygenated blood, and it goes into the venous system, goes back into the heart, back into the lungs, gets reoxygenated. That's how it all works. This whole process requires metabolistic energy. Now, metabolistic energy is created through the mitochondria in the body's cell. Now, that's like the cell's furnace, and it burns, ta-da, body fat. Well, it might burn carbs too, but you're trying to switch from burning carbs to body fat, right? That's why you need to be in ketosis. Now, I'll quickly give you the ketosis overview. Remember, you're dipping in and out. You're dipping in and out. Now, you're not doing any extreme stuff like, I'm starving myself for a week and see if I can lose weight. Well, okay, we'll see you in hospital later. Or whatever, I'm going on the extreme. I'm eating meats till they come out of my ears and no carbohydrates. Okay, well, you're just loading yourself up with saturated fats. So how do you balance it out? Here's the key. Number one, as I said before, in my case, I'm aiming for about 85K lean body mass. So that lean mass, just muscle, just me as a muscular chart would be about 80K. 80K of protein, whether it be pea protein, whether it be whey protein, whether it be any sort of protein that you're consuming. If you're vegan, it'll be vegan protein. If you're having whey protein drinks, it'll be whey protein drinks, et cetera, et cetera. Then you match it with the polyunsaturated fats, right? Now that's hemp, flax, and maybe MCTs or medium chain triglycerides. Now with the fats high and your carbohydrates really low, when you lift the fats high, you don't feel hungry. I'll tell you now, okay? Once you switch to the ketosis system, the brain actually can use ketones. It normally needs carbohydrates if you're on carbs all the time. Now, here's a little caveat with everything. If you're training, so if you're just an office worker and you just turn up the office and plonk, plonk, plonk on the computer and plonk, plonk, plonk on the way home and maybe do a bit of walking, that's all right. You don't really need a high lot of energy doing that. So you can remain in ketosis most of the time, and that can be quite healthy. There's extreme ketosis, which is not healthy, but we're talking about dipping in and out. And you've got to feel the body, and you've got to look how the body's utilizing body fat. You can see body fat reduction on your body in the mirror. You know, when you wake up in the morning, weigh yourself in the scales, look in the mirror, so you look leaner. I'm not kidding yourself. You actually will start to look leaner. With guys, it's usually abdominal area, especially, the so-called love handles. And with the girls, it's usually hip, butt, thighs, right? So that for thighs and hips are holding a lot of body fat, well, that's where you naturally hold it. That's the reserves. That's what your body must burn. Now, here's another little fact. People say to me, I'm going to train it off. And I just, I've done thousands of programs in my gym, and when I had offices in another gym near PA Hospital. 1 kilo of body fat, folks, is 7,700 calories. Now, the average workout's about 400 calories, 300 to 400, 40-minute workout. You'll take 25 hours to burn 1 kilo of body fat. Good luck. Good luck with training it off without a proper high protein, high good fat diet, low carb. Good luck to you. See how you go. You won't do it, I'll tell you now. Yeah, try it. Good luck. So I think that's all I was going to give you. I'll do a PDF file, but I'm going to show you the products, what I use and what you use. You can use whatever you like, but I'm showing you the products that we use to achieve, keep the carbs low, proteins high, and all that sort of stuff. Now, first of all, there it is, Mount Elephant hemp seed oil. Can you see that? 6 tablespoons a day. Right. Maybe if you're my weight, which is 85 kg, that's what I'm aiming to, 6 tablespoons a day. If you're lighter, if you're half that, if you say 85, if you're 50, 55, it might be 6 teaspoons a day. So you just got to work it out to see what works for you. Now, the other bonus with that is your joints get a lot more fluid, and the tendon attachments get a lot more softer. So it's like you combine the flax with the hemp seed oils at the levels I'm talking about, the whole system gets lubricated. I mean, internally and right through to the skin, because it does. The skin's permeable. You know, you put something on the skin, you put a patch on the skin that'll go through into the arteries eventually. So you're like a big sponge on different areas. Hemp seed, where are we? Oh, here it is. I've hidden it behind here. And that's the way I do the flaxseed. Now, the reason why I use flaxseed capsules is that flax, when you have flax raw, it's a little bit hard to handle. I find it's sometimes it tastes all right, but I prefer to have it in capsule form. But hemp seed, no worries at all. Now, here's another little tip that I'll just throw out of the box. Pix peanut butter. Now, careful that you're not allergic to peanuts, right? So the bodybuilders would use this. Take a teaspoon or a teaspoon of peanut butter, and it's all good fats. Now, the ones that haven't got palm oil and all that, made in New Zealand. The Kiwis do make a really good peanut butter, whether it be smooth or crunchy. I'll have a low carb bread, such as you get the low carb breads like Bergen. I put out a low carb bread. It's only about 5 grams of carbs per piece of bread, and it's got a lot of seeds and all that sort of stuff in it. And peanut butter, no worries, you won't feel hungry straight away after that. Now, when you're having porridge and all that sort of thing, I recommend, I just hope this doesn't fall out, Carmen's. And when you see that, I'll pull one out. We'll have a look at the back here. Oh, here we go. So you've got 150 calories in 1 sachet, and you've only got 22 grams of carbs and 0.5 of a gram of sugar. And they come in a little sachet like that, if you can see that, a porridge sachet. Have one of those in the morning. Then, I'm just sort of giving you the few tips here. Then, where are we? I take this, not the whole thing, but I use a container like this with a lid on it, right? Metamucil. Metamucil's got psyllium husk, and this is the thing that cleans the intestines out. You've got 10 meters of intestines. You imagine you take your intestines out and you'll be running that out to the fence and back again, right? So that's what your food from the stomach has to go through and be processed through 10 meters or 30 odd feet, 30 to 40 feet of intestines before it goes out the other end. So this Metamucil is probably one of the best products to detox and cleanse the whole intestinal tract, which is all part of healthy living, right? Now, the other thing that I combine with this, you just buy these at Coles. It's black chai seeds. You can get white ones, but I like the black ones. And I, in one of these, like I might put a third to a half with that, plus chai seeds, which chai seeds really act like psyllium husk. They form a gel in the stomach, and 1 teaspoon of this Vital Greens. Vital Greens has got 78 nutrients in it. It's probably one of the most powerful formulas ever made by 2 naturopaths in Sydney. Thoroughly recommend it. Also, they have just recently put out a pea and hemp protein drink. So it sort of comes in a container like this. I've just bought a couple. So, 1 scoop of it's around about 20 to 30 grams of protein, and you can use it in your hemp milk or your hazelnut milk or whatever, or you can use it in low-fat skim milk if you're into the other products. Now, head off to Coles, and that's about all gone. But this is just a deluxe natural mix of nuts. It's unsalted, and it's got plenty of fiber and vitamins. You can snack on that, you see. Now, here it is, the trusty pink lady apple, or whatever apples you like. That's I'll have to have a look up. I think it's about, it might be 20 grams of carbs. But the thing is that, having a chopped up apple during the day is very healthy for you. Plenty of fiber, pectin, and all that sort of stuff in it. Eat it whole, not the apple juice. The apple juice is just, you've just basically increased the fruit sugars without having the other benefits. So when you're consuming fruit, do it whole. The trusty old Valencia orange. Now, when I was full on weights training at one point, doing the Body for Life stuff, and I, was running late at the gym, getting to the gym, I would have 2 oranges cut up and just have that before I hit a workout. And when I was playing rugby league, the ladies used to cut up oranges into slices, and I was playing in Townsville, mind you, which is excruciating heat, with football jerseys on those days. They didn't have the light jerseys they've got today. They had the hot ones, and were playing in the hot sun. So come half time, we're just about knackered. So the ladies would cut up oranges. And you know what? I discovered back then, well over 30 years ago, that the trusty orange cut up and just, eating actually the little quadrants, and when you cut them up into small biteable pieces, that trusty orange is full. It's full of fructose, but it's also full of various minerals and all that sort of phosphorus and everything else like that. So they're the 2. Now, let me talk about training. The big picture is the ketosis type diet. We're doing that on a 24-hour cycle. And if you are training in between training sessions, you're actually losing body fat on the 24-hour cycle in between training sessions. You're not really losing any fat during training. It's mainly chemical energy. It's not burning fat at all. Maybe a bit. Hardly. It's not worth even counting, really. The 24-hour cycle in between exercise bouts, as you go through it like this, that's when you're burning body fat. All the training does is stimulate your metabolism. Now, a couple of tips if you're training hard, whether you're doing weights or martial arts or whatever. I'm a licensed agent for Urban Muscle products. This one here is Incel, and that's the creatine product. No sugar in it, it's what it does is give you the endosine triphosphate molecule, which is the energy molecule for the body. So creatine phosphate, there's a chemical reaction that happens from phosphate to triphosphate to biphosphate, diphosphate, energy is released and the body takes that up. So that is the number one product, no caffeine in it. A lot of these products put caffeine in it, which is really just a cheap way of ramping up the system without doing any good. This one's got no caffeine in it, and it naturally increases the ramping of the system before a workout. So you have that about, I actually mix it into my drink and have it with when I'm doing a workout, but you can have it just prior to a workout, and it'll just reflush all the system with creatine in the muscles. Now, regarding your protein drinks, that's the one I normally recommend. There's hardly any carbs. This one's here's got 5 grams of carbs or something. It's Urban Muscle Platinum brand. And the reason why we use this is it's a slow release. It releases over 8-hour period. So basically after a workout, your muscles, if you're doing weights workout, your muscles are actually, they're actually damaged. So when you're doing heavy weights, you're damaging the muscle tissue to rebuild itself. So this is what you need after the workout. Now, during the workout, there's 2 things that I recommend. Sorry for turning around there. 2 things that I recommend. Number one is the Urban Muscle Resurrect, which is amino acids, and it's branched chain aminos. It's L-glutamine and HMB, hydroxyl methylbutane, right? So those amino acids, what the body needs when it's under stress. It needs it now. It needs it immediately, not 4 hours later. So this is what you have during the workout. So this is intra-workout. And what I do is add a heaped teaspoon of Caruso's super magnesium powder. It's got 5 different versions in there. So what you're doing is you're assisting the contractual ability of the muscle. So just repeating that again, this is during a workout in about 400 ml of water. This is pre-workout, for your creatine. This is after your workout so that the muscles can recover. Or the vegan option is, say, bulk nutrients, or, which is pea protein, you get the same amount of protein. Or Vital Greens have actually put out, this is not it, but it's similar to this, 500 grams of hemp and pea protein drink, vanilla. So that's the one I bought. The shipment's coming. So, the protein drinks can be a meal replacement. So I'll go into that in the PDF file. Now, I'll just go through another couple of things. The trusty old Gatorade. Now, okay, there's sugar in that. You only have that on a very heavy workout. And the reason why, there's 250 ml of this, which is about down to there. It's got about 80 calories. And I think there's about 10 grams of sugar in it. And there's heaps of electrolytes, other words, potassiums and salts. Now, what I find is that, yes, I take water, but I also have a bit of Gatorade when I'm doing a very heavy workout. Plus, I do have work on a property with a 24-acre property in this sort of summer sun, and I will actually have some of this when it's really, really hot and you're sweating like anything. You need to replace electrolytes. So you don't go overboard with this. You don't drink it during the day. Only drink, and I recommend Gatorade because it tastes good to me. All the other ones, I don't like the taste of them. Only during a workout do you take this. Or, as an example, I'll give an example. On the property I'm working at, in between doing university studies and everything else like that, I've had heat stroke there 3 times. And I'm telling you, your body's shaking, the carbs are dropped out of the system, and your whole temperatures just goes through the roof, right? So what I did was lie down, drank one of these. Immediately, I come good, right? Now, there was one time on the property when I didn't have the Gatorade, and I had to try and get down to the service station. Water won't do it because water hasn't got any electrolytes in it. It'll leach you out more. And I just made it to the service station, like this, got 3 Gatorades, a smaller one, 2 of them down immediately, and the whole shaking settled down. Now, you know, you can sort of go into a little bit of what I call a low carb coma sort of thing. You've got to be a bit careful, and you've got to be sensitive to your sugar levels in your body. You know, you can do the keto diet when you're not under extreme exercise situations in an office, no worries. But if you're out in the hot sun, you're out doing training, you're doing playing tennis, or you're doing martial arts, or you're doing something that's causing you to sweat a lot, and you're doing intensive workout for at least 40 minutes, then you need a little bit of sugars, be it the fructose from the orange, be it the Gatorade, or be it maltodextrin, which you can buy separately. That's a whole different discussion, and I don't need to go into that like that. But what I'm saying is during a workout, you need that little bit of sugars during a workout. Otherwise, you'll flatten out. But in the 24-hour cycle in between workouts, you're on the ketosis diet mainly. You sort of dip in it and you come out of it, dip in it and come out. Now, as an example, the other day, myself and other half Anna had something to eat at a vegan restaurant and all that. And she said to me, okay, should we have rice at this meal? I said, no, we had the vegan fish. Would you believe it looked like fish to me, tastes like fish, had a nice sauce in it, but it was like salad, tofu fish. I think they make, it just tastes the same actually, but it's just it's good on the gut and all that. And then I said, no, okay, we won't have any rice because that keeps your carbs down. We'll have the soy ice cream, which is very, very low in sugars, and it hasn't got a whole stack of sugars like normal ice cream. We'll have that as the carbs. So there's ways around keeping your carbs low while you're eating healthily. And I mean, on Facebook, we've posted a whole lot of healthy looking meals, and everyone says, God, we like those meals yet. It isn't difficult to eat healthily when you know what you're doing. Now, regarding snacks and other things, I'll just show you these things. Hemp and oat milk. There's a chocolate version as well. That's from Mount Elephant, where I get the hemp seed oil. And just tastes like normal milk, but it isn't dairy. Now, the thing with when you're cutting down, even the bodybuilders of the old days that were in my gym, they drop all dairies out and keep everything lean and clean. So if you drop the dairies out, you find that you don't hold the fat like you did. For me personally, when I drink milk of any description, I'm not talking the vegan thing, I'm just talking from body fat levels. As soon as I get away from anything dairy, my fats start to drop straight away. Oh, sure, we're doing the keto diet, but without dairy in it, you'll find that you dissipate fat a lot more efficiently. You've got your fats up high, your good fats and all that. You drop the dairies out almost, well, drop them out completely if you can, or just have a little bit in your coffee or something, or I have a bit of milk in my porridge. That's about it. Now, what else have we got here? Okay, say you want some snacks, okay? Here we go. Mixed, and these are like, instead of having a whole lot of chips and rubbish, just get some mushies. Would you believe it? They really taste nice. Hardly any carbs in it, and they're good for you. And here's another one. Roasted endami, it's called, but it's actually soya beans. Roasted soya beans. Tastes great. Good little snack. Now, here's another one. Veggie crisps, right? Taru and sweet potato, purple and orange sweet potato and taru. Only 11 grams of carbs and only 2.4 grams of sugars. This is a great substitute to have a little snack that's not going to really throw the diet out, okay? All right. That's about it. I'll do a PDF file, and that gives you an overview of how to do the cut-up diet. And if you stick to this, you'll find that your body fat will dissipate at a steady rate, and it's something that you can stick to for the rest of your life if you want to be healthy. If you don't want to be healthy, just switch the video off. It's no skin off my nose. I'm just trying to share with you what we're doing at the moment to make yourself as healthy as possible. Graham Healy over and out. Have a great day.